What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Joe Rogan Experience. Episode 7 of the Wild West podcast. How are we doing tonight, everybody? It's just me, just Aidan. Evan's out of town. David is playing Call of Duty. Connor's watching baseball. So that leaves me. You know, this the task every week of getting a podcast out. It's kind of been keeping me back on YouTube, and that's kind of hype. That's been pretty good. It's getting me back in a good rhythm. I think it's good to have rhythms just in general. And this being one of them is I think good for me. I think it's good. It keeps me consistent, at least with like one video a week, which is pretty good, you know. Let's see. I got some notes here I want to get through. I have this at the top. This is probably pretty important to have at the top because I'm going to be saying a lot of stupid shit tonight. I'm going to be airing a lot of people out. I'm going to be putting a lot of things on blast. I'm going to be saying a lot of dumb stuff. So, I will preface this whole show with this. And this is actually one of the most valuable pieces of advice I ever received is pick your advice. Pick your advice. That's it. Because everyone has advice, but not everyone has good advice. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone has that wisdom. You know, Shane over in Philly now, he thinks he's full of wisdom. And he's actually full of shit. I'm just kidding. I love you, Shane. Yeah, man, pick your advice. I really think that's important. It's very easy to take advice from anyone in any position. Like, even if a homeless... You could be walking down the street. Fucking Mark Wahlberg could be walking down Wall Street on his way to get a Wahlburger. Heading into the Walmart, he sees a homeless person. The homeless person is like, yo... I think they hit him with like some weird advice. I think you should get on the Shaq 4s. I think you should buy some Shaq 4 shoes. It's going to cross his mind. He's going to, on his way to the Nintendo Switch aisle, he's going to look to the left, look at the shoes. Saying it out, putting it out there has a lot of influence. You know, even like subliminally. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. And where am I going with this? Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, pick your advice.
You are now listening to the Wild West podcast.
How are we doing tonight, everybody? How are we doing tonight? First solo episode. I knew it was going to come to this. I mean, I was actually kind of looking forward to this, not going to lie. Ever since we started, I was like, ooh, the day I could do a solo episode, it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice to just sit in front of the camera, not in a live capacity, and just be able to just talk very freely. And that's super cool. That's why I like the podcast in general, because we don't get a lot of moments where we just have long conversations. Like, I'll notice even when I'm hanging out with my friends in person, you know, we'd have conversations, but then, like, you know, we'd a little downtime, games on the phone for a little bit, you know. So to be focused on a conversation and that being the focus is like pushing the conversation forward and making sure it flows. I think that's super cool to have something like that that we do every week with the boys. You know, we all sit down, have a little reprieve from the week. We talk our shit. It's been good, man. I really like it. Let's see what else I want to talk about. Some spring cleaning bullshit before we head on with what else I have to say. We're back on Twitch. Not that we weren't streaming on Twitch before. We were streaming on Twitch YouTube and Kick. Fucking Kick, dude. What a joke. Every single time I'd go live on Kick, I would make my title something just absurd. Just like literally gambling my whole life savings away at the end of stream, and then in parentheses, not clickbait, and then after that it would be like for real, for real. So this is like a little concept, I guess you could say, that I picked up. I don't know who I fucking was listening to. It was some pod, and they were talking about following other people's lists. And that's just something I kind of want to expand on and give my own perspective to, because I think that's a super interesting idea. And it's something I've been thinking about a lot these past few weeks is, you know, you have your list, you have your own list, and on your list is the things that you have to do to keep you and the people you care about happy. But then at some point, someone you don't really care about, someone you might have just an obligation towards, a boss, something like that, you'll be on their list. And that's just like the less extreme example of it. But there's people who, I mean, even myself, like there were times where I found myself just on functions doing things I didn't want to do because, you know, we were following someone else's list. And I guess that was kind of fine for me. I like seeing the homies happy. It's a good time. But it's just something to think about, I guess. Something to be mindful of. I guess what I'm trying to say is focus on yourself a little bit and it'll go a long way, dude. It really would. It really will. I've been praying here and there. And that's not something that like I do a lot. But these past like couple years, you know, I just found myself like straying from like God and stuff. And I know religion's very personal, and you know I'm about to get into it. You could go fuck yourself. It's like I'm saying anything fucking stupid anyway. But like, I would just pray for very simple things, man. I'd wake up and I'd be like, thank you, God, for another day. I'd be driving to work. I'd be like, God, get me through today. On my way home, like, thank you for that good day or whatever, you know? It's like something that I've actually tried to do, put into my routine a little bit more. Not that it's like a ritual or anything. It's just like whenever it crosses my mind, whenever I'm feeling a little like anxious or whatever, I feel like that's kind of a good outlet, to be honest. Because you could pray like however the fuck you want, dude. God's not like a dude, you know? You could scream with that hoe and he'll understand. You know, I think it was Duncan Trussell who was like, pray like you're angry. Just try it. You know, that's what he said. He's like, just try it. And I've been praying and I've been keeping mindful, and I do think it's actually kind of had a positive impact on how I feel overall and my outlook on every day overall. I think that's super important, being able to have some sort of connection with like a higher power, knowing that like there's like some force, right, that's above you, like that's like guiding you, or whatever you believe, right? I think just having a higher power in general, like even if it was like some false god, you know, like Scientology, for example, like it still gives them closure. And that's not something that you could really argue with. It brings them like a lot of peace in the way that, like something that, in a very like spiritual way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I bought a fushigi. I don't know if you remember these. The fushigi, you kind of like go like this. You kind of like keep it in place and try to make it look like it's floating a little bit. I never got good at it at all. I'm still not good at it. I think I played for it for about 20 minutes total, and then I put it down forever. 20 minutes over the course of like a month, by the way, after I got it. I was like, dude, I'm going to get nice at the Fushigi because I just remember growing up seeing all these as seen on TV dumb freaking gimmick toys, and they were all so cool, dude. Like there's that, there's like the one where you put the headband on and it like tells you how much garbage you have in your garbage pail or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there was one where you would roll a dice and it would tell you your ethnicity. You know, there were some crazy games, and I wanted all of them. I really did. I mean, I'm 21 years old and I have a Fushigi, so it's probably not the hardest thing to believe. Let's see, what else do I got though? Strawberry jam, alk poisoning story. This is crazy. So I was at a party. I don't know, like earlier this summer. I don't know. I want to say like July, right? I was at a party and it was fun. I was having a great time. We were chilling. Robbie actually showed up later on, which is a fucking huge surprise because I thought he was out of state in college. So for him to actually pull up was super hype because I was like lit up as hell. And Robbie just walks in. I was like, what the fuck? So we're chilling inside. We're just shooting this shit. It's like a little wild outside, you know. So we're just sort of calming. We're taking it calm. We're like eating cookies, whatever. We're drinking water in between, you know, as responsible adults do. We go back outside, and there's this dude on the deck of the pool. Like there was a pool right on the deck of the pool, and he was just slumped over, and he was obviously going through some bad alcohol poisoning. Dude, it was bad. He was like he wasn't like responding, and he was just like kind of zombieing around for a little bit, and eventually started like throwing up on himself, and he like leaned forward, and he was about to like start falling into himself. He was about to fall off the chair, and I don't know who thought this was a great idea. The guy who was like trying to help him out, he grabs his like hair. This dude has like a ponytail, so it was like it got kind of sexual. I'm not gonna lie, you know. It might have turned me on a little bit seeing this dude grab this guy's ponytail and yank him back up. That's what happened though, dude. He grabbed him by his hair and he used his hair to pull him back up. And then they looked at us right after that for some fucking reason. I mean, it kind of cleared out by that point, so I guess some reason is we were like the only other people there at that point. They look at us and they were like, these guys were obviously drunk too, first of all. If you couldn't tell already, the people handling the person with alcohol poisoning, he was just the most drunk out of a very drunken lot. So they look at us and they're like, should we throw him in the pool? No, don't throw him in the pool. Don't throw him in the pool. I don't think you should throw him in the pool. Throw him in the fucking pool. Throw him in the pool. We were like, no, bro. Don't throw him in the fucking pool. That's so stupid. Obviously never had a situation like that, and it shows. Hopefully they learned something from that experience. You know, there are many other ways to get your head, like, back up. You know what I'm talking about? These past few days I've been rained out. It's been a very rainy weekend here in the Northeast. So yesterday I was like, all right, I'm just going to go do some adult shit. So I went to Stop and Shop because my dad wanted me to get him coffee. He's going camping this weekend. He's camping right now. And like creamer and all that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy myself some White Claws too while I'm there. for the weekend. So I'm in the store. You know, you've all been in the store before. And I get what I need. And then I go to the registers. But I'm like, oh shit. I have a fucking thing of White Claws on me. That's probably not going to ring out on the self-checkout. I need to go to a real register line. I need to go in line. I don't know when the last time I waited in the line at a grocery store was, especially Stop and Shop. Because they were like the first people to have self-checkouts. They had self-checkouts like when my grandmother was born, dude. Like, my great-grandmother freaking rang out her hot bar at the Stop and Shop in Old Italy. So there I am, waiting in line, something that I don't do ever. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be a part of the moment here. I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to be a part of the line. So I took a deep breath, and I sat there as a part of the line, my hands slowly giving out because I was holding a thing. I was just so awkward, the amount of shit I was holding. It was so awkward. I didn't have a carriage or a basket or anything. So I'm just standing in the middle of the aisle, like the front end, I guess, and just waiting. And this one cashier, dude, she was like absolutely crazy. She was crazy. Me and the dude in front of me just kept looking at each other, like rolling our eyes and like kind of giggling. I swear to God, at one point she held up a $1 bill to legit check it up to the light. And then she started laughing. And then after that, she started ringing out the people's groceries. Where the fuck did she get that dollar from? Ooh, look at this rando dollar I have. All right, now I'm going to scan your... Like, where did that dollar come from? That dollar was in the wrong part of the process. I don't know. That's just something I noticed while I was in line. I ended up leaving that line. I go into another line. I see an opening. You know, there's not many registers open. I see an opening. I take it. I get out. I get my shit, and I get wrung out before the guy in front of me. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and we just both know. We both know we both know what's going on. He lost, I won. Nothing was said, but it was felt. It was mutual. What's good with shotgunning, dude? I'm like drinking a White Claw, and there's people that I know who shotgun White Claws. How the fuck do you do that? Actually, how the fuck do you do that? That's crazy, dude. I'm like rumbling just from sipping it like twice. And then there's people who shotgun like 2 White Claws and then have a shot to chase it down. Like, that's crazy. I guess speaking of preferred drinks, I went clubbing for the first time a few weeks ago, and I got a vodka Red Bull, and let me tell you, that's a great starter drink for a club. We were pre-gaming, so it was kind of just mostly for the caffeine. But man, if there's a venue you want to be in for having a vodka Red Bull, it is definitely a club or like a concert or something. I was schmooving my ass off, dude. I was dancing. I'm sorry. I'm just watching this dude play Mario Sunshine now. Back on Twitch. Link in the description. I was involved in a short film. Earlier this year, I took a break from streaming because I got tired of streaming. It was really just fucking weighing on me, and I wasn't enjoying it as much as I should have been. So I took a little bit of a few month break. I think it was honestly for the better because we're back and we're swinging now. But that aside, during that, I have a friend, and we actually reacted to one of the productions I was in of hers before. But my friend Emily, she makes movies, and she was doing, I think it was like, it wasn't even her capstone, but like, this was just like some school project. And for this some school project, I show up to this literal filming site that has like a fucking green room tent, has a fucking dress tent that's like off site. On the site, they have like a fucking like dolly that they're setting up like on the ground, getting it level and shit. $50,000 red cameras out the dick. It's crazy, dude. It was kind of fucking awesome. It was kind of cool. I show up and Emily's like, "Yo, I need you to build a fire because I'm the designated Boy Scout. That's me." So I'm like, "All right, Carl." Carl was the dude. If you saw that video, you know who I'm talking about. I was like, "Carl, let's go build a fire, buddy." So I knew a few of the people there. Like I was familiar with like M's roommates and shit because we hung out in the past. Like I guess like I don't know. I think I was there for like her like 21st birthday party, and they were there also. So like we were kind of shooting the shit. You understand? There was little reports. But I was hanging out, but it was mostly Carl, the guy who I was like the closest there with. I mean, like for dudes, right? It was like me and Carl. We were Dong Squad, me and him. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna go build a fire. We go to build the fire. We build the fire. It's great, beautiful fire. Ends up being on the film, by the way. Beautiful fire. Beautiful fire. The best fire I've ever seen. And, like, out of nowhere, while I'm trying to build the fire, like, this one kid who's, like, very skinny. He's skinnier than me right now. And I was fat then. But he's skinnier than me now, and he's, like, taller than me. So you got an idea. And he has, like, a beard. So this guy doesn't look good. This guy doesn't look too hot. He looks a little, malnourished. It looks like the pandemic stayed inside of him when he should have stayed inside during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't. He didn't look too. He looked awful. He kept coming up to my fire with, like, alive like plants, which you're not supposed to do. If you put like green, like anything that's not really like dead on a fire, most of the time it's going to start smoking. It's not going to catch good at all. It's just going to start smoking and kind of smother it out a bit. It's not productive. So I was like, "Dog, what are you doing?" And he was like, "I'm putting stuff on the fire." And I was like, "That's green, dude. I only want like dead stuff on the fire." He looks at the fire. He saw that I used like a little newspaper to start it. Now all of a sudden this dude's a fucking debate lord. Now this guy's a debate lord. He's like, "Bro, but you got paper on the fire. You got paper on that fire right now, dude." I basically told him to fuck off. I told him to like go fuck himself. He did not come near the fire for the rest of the night. I had to make it known, dude. I had to make it known. Like don't fuck with the fire, dude. It was a great time. It was a great experience because I really don't think that's something that I'll ever do again. Like unless given the opportunity, which I guess could happen. And I guess it's possible, but it was so cool, man. Like there was like catering and like we were there, dude. I showed up at like 6. I got out of work and I like rushed over, and it was like an hour drive. So I got there at 6. Sun's still up. We don't start shooting until it gets dark out, like 8 or 9, right? And then we're filming all night. I'm a side character. I'm a fucking side character, a little flex. Literally minor role. My back was to the camera the whole time. All like 10 seconds I was in it. But boy, do I carry. Boy, do I carry. Um, but it's crazy how much filming goes into something like that, because like that little sequence I was in was like 30 seconds long, and we were probably we were probably shooting takes of it for like an hour, dude. We were really running it back and running it back. I remember I didn't leave that night until like 2 in the morning, and the plan was for everybody to stay later, but there's like a law. There's a law that like you can't make people work past 2 a.m. or something. Or I think it was like they had another shoot the next day, and the amount of time in between the shoots would have been illegal, I think, right? Something like that. So there I am for what, like 8 hours? 6 to 2. That's fucking crazy, dude. Um, it was a good time though. I remember on my way home, I was just tired and like almost shaking and like just drained. I was so drained, but it was awesome. Film went on to win 3 awards at an award show, or at a film festival. Sorry, I guess a film festival award show. You know, went on to win 3 fucking awards. That shit swept. I'm so happy to like see my friends doing big things, dude. It's actually awesome. It's it's great. Like it's genuinely like it's great seeing my friends do good shit. It's good shit. What are like the requirements for like getting into OnlyFans? Like, how public do you have to be with your profile? What I'm trying to say is, if I start at OnlyFans, could I make it so like my name and my face isn't in it at all? I can just profit off cock. I'm just saying, guys, let's think about this here. This might be a smart thing we could do. Better yet, we AI generate fake girls so nobody's hurt in the process. And then we catfish men on OnlyFans. We make people with way too much money pay way too much money for an AI foot pic. At that point, whose fault is it? You know what I'm saying? Just a little food for thought. Pick your advice, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, there's so many fucking Dunkins where I live. I was thinking about it. I remember we were actually talking about it when I was in high school, way back fucking when. all of 3 years ago. We were talking about how many Dunkin' Donuts are in my hometown of West Haven, Connecticut. And we came to the conclusion that there's 12. Wait, let me go through this again. Because there's definitely going to be some that I forget. Yeah, I think it's like 12 Dunkin' Donuts we have in our town. I was thinking about it again because Connor was like, there's a Dunkin' Donuts every 10 miles in Connecticut. And I was like, yeah, but around here it's definitely way more. And he pulled up the grid, and it's true, dude. We definitely do make that curvier, dude. We make that shit, like, God, dude, we make that shit thick. Graph gets real dense around West Haven, New Haven County area, is all I'm saying. Is that a bad thing? No. We're all slaves to Dunkin', and it's like it's great. It's great. It's the best. It's the best. You want a hot coffee that doesn't taste like coffee? It just tastes like sugar. Or even if you want a hot coffee that tastes like coffee. God, man, I might What time do they close? Yeah, unless it's a 24-hour Dunkin'. I'm gonna have to wait on that one. We're gonna have to put that one on hold. So it was like the same day I was waiting in line yesterday, and right after that I was like, all right, I'm gonna go be a slave. I want to go get myself some donkeys. So I went and I got some donkeys, and I went inside because there wasn't a drive-through, and I was like, all right, I could drive like another 2 minutes out of the way and go to one with a drive-through. That's like literally like how crazy it is. It's like, but it's like, all right, I'm right here. I'm driving down this road. I'm on this road with this Dunkin'. I'm just gonna fucking go to this one and go inside. So I go inside, and the first thing that catches my eye is the staff. There was this person behind the counter who was as tall as I think Andre the Giant would be if I saw him in real life. This person was like 6'8", 6'9". Female. Fucking absolute fucking freak. Absolute genetic freak. Let's just be honest here. You don't see that every day. And I'm just like, yo. I walk in, right? And I go right up to her, and I put in my order. I was like, because I was like kind of thrown off a bit. So I just walk in, and I'm like, hey, could I have a medium hot coffee, one caramel, one mocha, and then I'm gonna have a bacon, egg, and cheese on a plain bagel. And then she was like, okay, yeah. And then she gets my coffee in 10 seconds. I'm not even fucking exaggerating. She makes my coffee in 10 seconds. I don't know how the fuck that happened. I like turn around and my coffee was there. But also, the cashier was standing there the whole time to her left. And the cashier was just a normal sized person. And I didn't even notice them. I didn't even notice the fucking register, dude. I was just tunnel vision on this like 7 foot tall. I was just tunnel vision on Godzilla, bro. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Godzilla was calling my eye. I left and I was like, whoa, what the fuck just happened, dude? It was fucking weird. I've been driving a lot. I've been having to drive a lot because my job, it's about a half hour away. So every day I drive an hour, give or take. And it adds up, dude. It adds up. I got a lot of hours, a lot of miles on the car now. It's nice because I take a nice road home sometimes. And that's cool. That's cool. One night I was taking it home, and I remember I was taking it a little slow. I was just because I was tired. It wasn't like anything in particular. I was just like really tired, and I wasn't really like giving it as much gas as I should have. I noticed that there was this guy behind me on a motorcycle. I checked the mirror. Guy behind me on a motorcycle, and he's vibing. But I noticed that he could vibe a little harder because he's not on my ass, but he's like car length behind. He's like 3 car lengths behind me, and he's keeping distance consistent. So I'm like, all right, if I speed up, this guy's gonna speed up. And I'm like, all right, let's fucking drive, dude. Let's drive a little bit. So I step on it, and this is a nice road. It's a nice windy road. I understand why he was driving it. And me and this dude were like kind of whipping this road for a few minutes, and it was kind of cool, dude. A real watershed moment, if you ask me. It was dope, man. I totally see the appeal of like riding now, dude. It was awesome. And I was in a wagon. I wasn't even on a bike. I was talking a few episodes ago with Dave and Rob about seeing the silver lining and bad shit that happens to you. I was driving home one day. I was driving. I should have been paying a little bit better attention. I freaking rear-ended someone. I got into a little fender bender. It wasn't bad. Their car was perfectly fine. My car had a headlight out, and like that was it. The hood was dented. Other than that, like that was it. We had to get a new light and a new hood, and everything was fine. Um, but it was my first car crash. Never been in a car accident before, and it was surreal, dude. It was fucking. I don't want to say it was scary because it was just happening in the moment. It was just so in the moment. All of a sudden the airbag pops. The airbag popped, by the way. And let me talk about this. The airbag should not have popped. That was a recalled airbag. They're sensitive, and when they pop, they release shrapnel sometimes. Sometimes the bag is like so sensitive that it actually bursts and shrapnel is fucking released. I could have gotten like actually shrapnel bombed. Like there was no way I probably could have died from the car crash, conceivably, unless like a low flying plane hit me while I was like waiting for the cops or whatever. But that shrapnel could have like hit a fucking like artery, dude. It could have been wraps. It actually could have been wraps for me right there, and that is kind of scary to think about. It's a little scary to think about. Um, So yeah, I'm there. The cops, they're there. I'm giving the cops my insurance and everything. We're all giving them the story and what happened and all that. And my dad shows up and like at this point I'm just fucking I'm just a wreck, dude. I'm like about to start crying. I'm just like sitting there to myself. I'm not saying anything. And it was that night that I realized how good of a support system that my family is. Genuinely, dude. It felt good knowing how much my family cares about me. Um, as fucking stupid as that sounds, you know, like not getting into the specifics of it, but like I don't know. It was just good seeing my family be so glad that I was just like safe. Not even like caring about the car because the car honestly it was fine. It was fucking fine. We fixed it that weekend. um, like I was probably making a bigger deal out of it than I should have, and I think my parents especially saw that. Um, I don't know. My dad in particular did a. We were like talking about it on the way home, and I don't know. He really did a good job of making me feel better. We were like talking it out and stuff, and just like talking about it. Like he was like, "Oh, I never got into a crash where the airbag went off. This is that. Like, oh, how was it? Like was it like did you tense up at all? Like we were just like kind of just making small talk over it. Like it was just kind of nothing, and it wasn't a big deal, and that's because it really wasn't a big deal. And I have my family to thank for that, dude. I think that's awesome. So what I'm trying to say is love your parents because they love you. I want to talk about success for a bit and celebrating success. This is something that I was thinking about a lot when I came out with my album in May, because to me it felt like I just sort of going leading up to the release date. I felt like it was going to be a much bigger deal to me, um, having it be out there than it actually turned out to be. Um, and that kind of made me feel conflicted, that I wasn't as hype as I thought I would be for the release of my own album. Um, and that had me thinking about what I was talking about, like celebrating and knowing when to celebrate. And I feel like even though I tried, I never got the proper. I'm trying to pick my words carefully here. Like, I tried. Like, it was like a month after the album came out. I was like, all right, I'm going to put it on. I'm going to put it on. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. It's going to be there. It's going to be on streaming, and it's going to work. And I was listening to it, and I was like, yeah, this is my album. And not much else. I wasn't like, it's out, we fucking did it. And I don't know why. I don't know fucking why. That's something that I have to get to the bottom of. I have to think more on it. And I guess I'll get back to it. I mean, I really don't know. I really don't know why. I don't know if it's because I just kept working on it up until like it came out. And then I like kept working on stuff adjacent to it, like the extras and stuff that didn't make the album. I don't know if it's because I feel like I'm in the album cycle still, is what I'm trying to say. But generally what I'm trying to say is like, at what point do you step back and be like, this is the house I built. Let me sit in front of my house and appreciate the house for a little bit before I go back to building. And maybe that's the problem, is like I never really took a break from doing beats shit in between the release and now. I mean, it's only been like a few months from May to September, October. It's like 6 months, but still, I don't know. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if it's like because I feel like I didn't do a good enough job subconsciously. I don't know. I feel like that's not true. I feel like I made the best product I could. But I feel like that's just like something that people probably deal with in general, more generally. Cool having a pod. I don't know if I talk about this on the pod, but we were trying to get this pod going for kind of a little while now. Ever since we like furnished this room, put up this sign, did all the lights and everything, which was over a year ago at this point, almost 2 years ago. We were trying to do a podcast. And it only came to fruition like a few weeks ago, and it was just like well after I thought it wasn't gonna happen anymore. And it wasn't even my idea. It was like Connor and Evan. They're like, we should fucking just do a podcast. And I was like, all right, we'll do it. And they were like, all right, what if like anyone says something that we want cut out? And I was like, I'll cut it out. And here we are. I think it's a good format for us. I really do. Not only, like I said, it's good that we're like talking, all of us, like kind of picking each other's brains, but it's also good for just the sake of it. It's just something that I wanted just for a little while, and it's just cool that it's there, just simple as that. All right, what else do I got before we end the pod tonight? Right. I'm attending another wedding, dude. A lot of love going on in this past year. Earlier this year, my sister got married to her lovely now husband, fucking goat Brandon Savage. Mr. and Mrs. Savage. There's a vlog on my channel if you want to see that. Great fucking weekend. I think that's my best vlog. I bet you'll think so too. But I got another wedding coming up. My brother's getting married. Not Connor. My older brother. I have an older brother who doesn't come on stream. I have a brother who comes on stream. I have a brother who doesn't come on stream. He's older. He has a kid, a girlfriend, a house. They're getting married next week. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm actually really excited. Not only do I love weddings, it's going to be a great time. This is going to be a great time in general. I'm always down for a great time. See, the best part about this past wedding and probably this next wedding is that I'm gonna be able to see Dave just get absolutely trashed, dude. Dave's gonna like have like 6 beers and then he's gonna throw up and then he's gonna be perfectly fine. And he's gonna have like a whole plate of nachos, 6 more beers, and it's gonna repeat. The cycle is gonna repeat itself. It's the cycle of life. I wonder if Connor's gonna finally fold. Of all the times we've drank, and Connor's the one guy who's never threw up that night. He's thrown up the next day. Last episode. He threw up the next day. But not that night, dude. He championed it. I didn't throw up that night or the next day. I'm just saying, fucking, honestly, some pussy shit. I had 2 burgers. He only had 1. Like, fuck. But I don't know. It's just the little things like that, man. Seeing Dave get absolutely insane trashed. And then res himself in the bathroom. It's great. I wear my watches on my right wrist. Can you tell I'm running out of steam here? But no, I feel like there's a lot of times where I just have the watch on and I don't give a fuck. I wear it on my right arm, bro. Like, I think it's just more comfortable like that. Like, I don't. Is it a big deal? Because is it a big deal? Because there's so many people who fucking ask me while I'm wearing the watches, and I don't wear watches a lot. So like, I put on a watch and someone asks me, it's like, this is a fucking common thing. This fucking happens all the time, I guess. I put on the watch and they're like, you wear your watches on the right side, and I'm like, yeah. What's so crazy about that? Does that make me like fucking gay or something? I don't get it. Someone in the comments enlightened me, dude. As shitty as Starfield is at launch, I actually do really like that game a lot. But as much as that game crashes on me and I fucking hate it, and I see the flaws more in it every single day, I have to give it credit because it actually got me into Fallout. I was talking on like the first stream of Starfield that I was like, I tried to get into Fallout so many times. I tried to get into Skyrim so many times. But I always wanted to get into Fallout more than Skyrim because I would have friends at school. Like, I remember in like the 7th, 8th grade, I'd have like these couple of friends who'd come in every morning and talk about what they did in Fallout like 3 in New Vegas or whatever. And it just sounded like the most fun shit ever, dude. It sounded so fun. They'd be like, oh, I found this fucking foul feral ghoul in the sewers and I blew it up with a fucking nuke. And we all start laughing and it was great. Okay, I smell burnt toast. I hope I'm not having a stroke. The cat looks alert too. I feel like we both know something's afoot. I don't think I'm stroking out. But I remember, like, it was like 7th, 8th grade was right around the time when they announced and revealed Fallout 4. And that was so fucking cool to me because, like, a couple of years before that, like, with the scouts, we did a trip to Boston. So I was like, this is so sick. On the trip, we slept on, there was, like, a guy in our troop who had, like, military connections. So he pulled some strings. He was able to get us to sleep on the USS, which is a boat, Constitution, the oldest active military warship in the United States. Some bullshit like that, right? We were able to have this little sleepover on it, dude. It was awesome. And then when I saw that same boat, in the Fallout 4 trailer, I got so excited. Fallout 4 was probably one of my most hyped games growing up, just in general. Like, I'm going to be honest. And then it came out and I never played it. Ever. Until last year. I didn't have an Xbox One, dude, or a PS4. And my broke freaking kid ass wasn't getting one anytime soon. Let me tell you that. I guess I did have opportunities to play it, to be fair, later on. Like, I remember in high school I had like an okay gaming rig, for example. I don't know. But playing Fallout 4, that's some good shit, man. That's a good game. I'm really enjoying walking around Boston. Just exploring fucking Boston. Seeing how fucked up it is. Like, me and Connor were like, oh, what's Fenway? What's Fenway? And it's a fucking city that they set up inside of Fenway Park. That's so awesome. It's so fucking cool. Dude, the world in that game is really cool. It really makes me appreciate a handcrafted world, but that's the fucking idiots, dude. I'm just kidding. Because I know Starfield's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. How much better? It's up for debate. Speaking of debate, man, the presidential debates are starting, dude. We're going to have to vote pretty soon. We're going to have to vote in a couple months is a thing that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to vote for the next guy who's going to run our country for the next 4 to 8 years. 4 years, guaranteed. Do you feel pressure? Do you feel blame? Do you feel like goosh kabadish to go geet? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fucking wrap. Episode 7 of the Wild West podcast. If you enjoyed and you're watching on YouTube, we're on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify or watching on Spotify, hey, we're a video podcast there too, baby. And you want more content from me, come check out the Aidan Zero YouTube channel. We post every day. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you soon. Ops wanted some initiative. Blew up their entire quadrant. They must have amnesia. They forgot I'm him. Give a fuck if I go blind. I don't need to see the price tag, bitch. I'll fuck you up. What are those, Shaq 4s? Who told you to get those?